America has a massive problem, and it's not Trump. Trump is the result. Anti-intellectualism is the cause, and also one of America's greatest problems. Whoever you ask, they'll tell you that Americans as a whole are as sharp as a marshmallow. Obviously, that's a prejudiced perspective fueled by countless reels showing you Americans unable to point to their own country on a map, or convinced that a Hungarian is a person who uses hunger as a dietary restriction, the equivalent of a vegetarian, except that you substitute vegetables with hunger. When faced with such disdain for knowledge, people will just roll their eyes, judge, and move on. But the problem is not new, it's not laughable. It's deeper than geography, and it has nothing to do with the intellectual capacity of an entire country. There is a war on education in the US, and it looks like Americans and common sense are losing this battle, this time at a presidential scale. In March of this year, US President Donald Trump signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education, fueling a campaign pledge and the long-cherished goal of many conservatives. That's a massive battle won in this war, and Trump has the uneducated that he loves so much to thank for offering him the opportunity to bring the country further down the road towards autocracy and idiocracy. If you take a good look at the people who are now part of the United States top team, they look exactly like actors from the movie, the president included. But let's face it, this didn't start with Trump. Idiocracy is a 2006 movie. It's been long in the making. It's just been a bit more intense in the past few years, especially since COVID. It looks like COVID was the culmination of distrust towards the people who were supposed to have all the answers, and somehow they just didn't. It's the expectation of people who don't have the knowledge to suppose that others either have all the knowledge or none at all. And since COVID proved that doctors and the institution of medicine were struggling and spewing out what seemed like arbitrary, oppressive measures, a great part of the masses chose to believe conspiracy theories, that vaccines are the devil and Joe Rogan is their best friend. And this is not only a result of lack of knowledge per se, it's actually anti-intellectualism that leads to this disdain for knowledge. It's widespread distrust and opposition towards intellectuals, intellectual pursuits, and the value of knowledge and critical thinking. It manifests as a disdain for education, science, art, and literature, deeming them impractical or even contemptible. Lately, every place you look, some financial influencer is suggesting people should stop going to college because it's a waste of money. All you get from it is a lifetime of debt because that diploma will no longer help you get a decent job. Of course, this is a problem that is mostly prevalent in the US, as several European countries offer free or significantly subsidized higher education. In Europe, governments are trying to have educated citizens. That would result in wiser political, economic, and sociological decisions at an individual level, which will then translate into wiser decisions at a national level. That's another consequence of higher education, apart from the opportunity of getting a higher paid job. College is not just a promise of more money later on in life, but also a better understanding of the world, networking with peers, meeting equals for business as well as relationships, and entering your adult life studying rather than flipping burgers at McDonald's. Nothing against flipping burgers or McDonald's, but not everything is about work, money, and business. Or burgers. That's how you end up voting for someone like Donald Trump, because he promises you'll make a lot of money. Or admiring someone like Elon Musk, because he has a lot of money. There are other dimensions to life that will help you see through snake oil salesman discourse and stop you from voting against yourself. Can you acquire those skills, knowledge, and all-encompassing views in other places than college? Well, of course you can. But will you? Probably not. It's much more difficult to be self-taught and choose the truth from so many options available than to receive knowledge from those who already have it, teachers and universities. Few people succeed without proper guidance, especially at a young age. That's why you see few who have succeeded in life without education. They're the outliers. For the rest of us, it takes studying to succeed. Otherwise, RFK is just around the corner with his leathery face, trying to feed you some unpasteurized milk, which is bad for you, by the way, stop us from getting a life-saving vaccine, and keep us barefoot and pregnant. These are all bad for us. They're not doing it because these things are good for us, but because they're good for him and his friends. That's how they get voted into office. He couldn't care less what's good for us. He doesn't even know, nor is he interested. This is not about health. It's about power. That's what anti-intellectualism is about. Taking power from the many and giving it to the few. The less knowledge of the world we have, the less we'll be able to interact with the world in a healthy way. Unless we also study academic disciplines that explore aspects of human culture and society, history, philosophy, literature, and the arts, we'll miss our only opportunity to deepen our understanding of human nature, culture, and civilization. We'll also miss the opportunity for critical thinking, analysis, empathy, research, and effective communication. That's how we'll end up imagining our happiness lies in how much we're worth. Isn't this a deeply American concept? That's how you end up with an America run like a business, not like a country. And what's the purpose of a business? Profit. The profit of the owner, not of the employees. Countries that are good for the people are not run like businesses. They're run like communities. And we need education for that. Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.